Hey guys, waiting to see some people pop on here. Keep messing around with my stuff until I see some people. How's everyone doing today? Give you a few minutes, hopefully some people will hop on here. Oh, I see one person. Now give me a thumbs up or a shout, make sure you can hear me alright. Can y'all hear me? Do I need to be louder? Let's see. Alright. Well, if you can't hear me, let me know. I've got some music in the background, but if it's too loud, I can always turn that down. So, my name is Lindsay, and my company is Lightstone Creative, and my favorite thing to make is these mala style necklaces, which I'm going to talk about here for you. So they've become kind of a popular thing over the last few years, but I kind of want to tell you guys a little bit about the history of them because I think it's pretty fascinating, but nothing too boring, I promise. It's all cool stuff. So basically a mala necklace is a type of necklace that has exactly 108 beads, and it has a knot in between every single bead. And traditionally, the purpose of it is to help with meditation, mantras, affirmations, different forms of prayer. So mala is the word for, it actually means garland. It's a way to, it's used as a reminder, and I know everybody, I think what's really fascinating to me about the mala is it kind of spans a lot of different religions, and so no matter whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. It's still a beautiful piece of jewelry and a beautiful work of art, but it also is, like in Catholic religion, the rosary is pretty much the exact same thing. They just adopted the idea because they thought it was a really awesome idea. So malas have been around in some form for a very long time and over spanning many different religions, you know, Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, and used often in yogic teachings. Like I said, they're really great for meditation. As you are meditating on a mantra, you're moving the beads through your hand. Same kind of idea with a rosary. You're repeating your prayer, and it just helps you to stay focused. And they say, you know, if you repeat something over 100 times, it should stick. It's kind of the idea. But 108 is an interesting, alright, we got someone watching. 108 is interesting because everyone's like, why is it 108? Does it, you know, what's the significance? And it's kind of, there's so many different reasons. 108 is a really big number in numerology, but there's a ton of different reasons. But a few of the really fascinating ones to me is there's 108 heart lines leading to the heart, so it's all connected with the chakras. And well, all that, and coupled with repeating the number. If you Google it, it's kind of interesting because you'll come up with dozens of different reasons 108 is considered a sacred number in a lot of different religions. So, let's see. Should I show you some pieces? So, what I like to do is, I've been making jewelry now for about almost 15 years, and I just got into making malas probably, I don't know, a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago, but it's relatively new to me, and I've always been I've always practiced, I've practiced yoga for many years, probably almost as long as I've been making jewelry. So the idea to me, I was drawn to it because I just thought it was really fascinating. When you're meditating, it does help you to focus. But I've also been very obsessed with gemstones for a very long time. And the idea that you can combine those energies, make a beautiful work of art that you can wear, that's like a reminder, that has the energy of whatever stones you want, and that's all different metaphysical properties. There's a huge amount of information behind every stone. Every stone is connected to a different chakra, an energy center in your body, and they're all said to heal different parts of your body or help with different things. And I don't know, some people think that's, just some woo-woo stuff, but I've always been drawn to them, and I definitely feel like different stones make me feel better in different ways. And so to each their own. Some people just like how beautiful they are, and some people it holds a lot more value to them. So I'm trying to get a few pieces out, but my dog is laying on all of my jewelry right now. She likes to do that. So there's a few different pieces, but most of the malas I make are more like this length. It's typically like 22 to 24 inches. This is like a 6 to 8 millimeter bead. So not too big. A lot of bracelets that people wear will be 8, 10 millimeter, a little bit bigger. But if it's something you're going to wear all the time, a lot of times you don't want something too bulky. So I work mostly with 6 and 8 millimeter for like I call this like a standard size mala. And then I also make like this one. I call that a mini mala. It still has 108 beads, of course. The only difference is I use a much shinier bead. This is 3 to 4 millimeters. So it takes takes a little more patience. Sometimes the minis take longer than the larger ones, but I love them. I love how dainty they are in the way that they're not in the way. So for me, this is my everyday one. I always wear this because it's not too bulky. It doesn't get in the way, and I love all the stones. Every time I make a necklace, I choose the stones intuitively. It has a lot to do with colors and patterns, but it also has to do with the properties of each stone and how well they kind of jive together. So this is another mini. This is with rose quartz and moonstone, which I think are a beautiful combination. Rose quartz is connected to the heart chakra, and moonstone is connected to the crown chakra. And I could go into a lot more of that, but if you're interested in learning about all the different stones and the metaphysical properties, you should definitely find me on Instagram at lightstone.creative, or here on Facebook at Lightstone Creative, because in every post I always talk about the different properties, and I tell you about each stone that was used. So, okay, Kira, she's like laying on all my stuff. I wish you could see her. She's adorable. Can't even be mad at her. So, here's one that is a slice of agate that has been electroplated around the edges, and a veil created. And as of right now, I have to partner with people, which is totally fine because I absolutely love doing collaborations. But I don't have the tools or the materials to do electroplating, so I have to buy them already electroplated. And then this has amethyst and fluorite. So this one is great for third eye chakra, crown chakra, and heart chakra, for all those different stones. So, alright. I kind of started one earlier thinking, I wasn't sure if you guys would be more interested in like seeing my work, or learning more about the art form and the history of malas, or if you want me to kind of do like a little mini demo. So I was just going to kind of do everything. And so if you are interested in making your own mala, you don't have to use gemstones. The most basic malas are usually out of a very simple wood. For example, like the Tibetan monks, if they're using them for a meditation tool, they don't like to have anything of any sort of value, so they usually get like, you know, the roughest, simplest wood beads. And you'll see a lot of rosaries are made out of wood beads as well. So you can always, you know, make one out of that. And then you just need some kind of very strong, durable cording. This stuff, I have like probably 5 different colors of spools of it, and it's some kind of super strong nylon bead cording that I picked up at my local bead and jewelry shop. It's super strong. I mean, I've been wearing these guys. I've been wearing this one like every day for like a year and a half, and I've been wearing this one every day for probably 6 months. And they just hold up really well. So you want some kind of strong cording. You can use hemp. You can do wax cotton. I just find that they break down a little bit faster. But if you keep them out of the water, if you're by the ocean, keep them out of the salt, don't shower with them, they tend to last a lot longer, especially if you're wearing them every day. So usually I start with a piece of cord that is really exact measurement here, but about as long as I can reach, plus a little extra. Just because the knots take up space. So as you're knotting, your cord is like getting shorter and shorter, so you need more than just the length of the total necklace. It's probably 2 to 3 times as long. And then today I really wanted to do another arrowhead piece, just because I get a lot of compliments on this one, and this is one of my personal favorites. I did a collaboration with my friend Alex over at Raz Wraps. He does some really dope wraps, if anyone's looking for. I mean, this is like super basic to him. And to me, this is a much nicer wrap around that arrowhead than I would have been able to do. So I love doing collaborations. If there's other artists that want to collaborate, I would be down. Definitely just hit me up. But he couldn't be here today, so I don't have the arrowhead wrapped yet. But this is going to be our focal bead or guru bead for this necklace that we're working on. I need to keep my eye on the time. I have no idea how long. So I picked all of the stones around that focal bead. And this one has, it's kind of hard to tell in this lighting, but it's a type of jasper, commonly called like fancy jasper or whatever. But anyway, it's like a really beautiful blue-green, semi-opaque stone, and I wanted to put it with some earthier tones, some greens, and some blues. So I ended up choosing, and this is like an old serving set that was my grandmother's, and it turns out to be like the perfect little setup. But you just use what you got, right? So I picked out some African turquoise, which is much more, it's really hard to show you guys stuff, much more green. It's kind of green with like brown flecks in it. Turquoise is a fascinating stone because it can come in so many different colors. You can get like a really bright blue, you can get a real green blue, deep colors, brighter colors, and then you can get like this really earthy green with the brown. And so I wanted to use that with our jasper arrowhead, and then I also picked out some smoky quartz. Oh, and then so the turquoise, being a predominantly green stone, is typically associated with the heart chakra. And then we have our smoky quartz, which I absolutely love. Usually your browns and your darker colors are going to be connected with root chakra, so very grounding energy. If you need a lot of grounding in your life, I feel like, you know, with all the crazy stuff going on right now with COVID, grounding is an amazing thing to have. You can kind of feel like you're just being pulled in 50 million directions right now, so that's nice. And then I have, this is one of my favorite stones. It's actually the same as this dark blue in my necklace. It's a blue apatite, which is a gorgeous stone. And typically blues, you're connected more with the throat chakra, and sometimes also heart and throat, which usually they play off of each other, because your heart is like your self-expression, your self-love, and the love you give to the world, but your throat is how you express that, how you express your self-expression and your love and your connection with the world. So typically if your heart is blocked, your throat is also blocked, vice versa, because they're so interconnected. I mean, obviously all of your energies are going to be connected, because you know you're not whole without all the sum of your parts being in alignment. So once I picked the stones, I just decide what kind of patterning I want to do, which sometimes the planning can take like longer than, well, not usually longer than the making, because tying 108 tiny knots tends to take a while, usually at least an hour and a half, sometimes 3 or more. But I've made so many of these at this point that you get kind of quicker and quicker as you go. First time I made it definitely took me like 4 hours, so don't be discouraged if it takes a little while. All good. But I kind of decided on a pattern with more of the turquoise. So I've got like 2 and then 1 smoky quartz, and then back to 2 turquoise, and then 1 blue apatite. And then I ended up just patterning it like that because I wanted to have a lot of that green in there with just a pop of blue and a little bit of that earthy, smoky mixed in. So, you leave a little bit of tail because you're going to have to tie this off. You can put a clasp on these if you really want. I've had a few custom orders where people really wanted a clasp on it. Totally fine. A traditional mala has technically has no beginning and end because it's like a full circle. The only time you know where you kind of start and end is where your guru bead is. So that's how you know you got to the end of 108 is when you get to that final bead. And then typically you'll see malas, they have like a tassel at the end too. And then, some people like the symbolism behind that. But I don't, because I use this more as my own version of it, I don't usually mess with tassels too much, but they can be a really cool addition if you want to do that. So if you start and you leave enough of a tail here, you're basically starting here and you're working your way all the way up and around and ending here. Sometimes when I have a stone with a veil like this, you don't really want your knot to be where this sits, because if it were to come unraveled, the first thing you do is lose your stone, which is, that'd be such a bummer. Whereas if it were to come untied in the back, it might fall, but you're probably gonna, notice that. I don't know, just my theory anyway. But if you have a stone where you can go all the way through, let's see if I have a good example. I don't have a good example down here. But if you have a stone that's vertically drilled, like top drilled, at the end, when you get back down around, you have the 2 threads, and then you can feed them both through that stone and then tie at the bottom, which is traditionally how they are made, because that would be where you would attach your tassel, be at the bottom of that. So, yeah, so continuing with this pattern, pretty simple. Tying knots is not the hardest thing I've ever done. It's just a simple overhand knot, nothing fancy. You just kind of thread your bead on there. Make sure you're on pattern, because there's nothing harder than trying to untie a tiny knot that you've already pulled tight. It's very frustrating. So when you tie the knot, I just did that without even like showing you guys. The worst. Okay, so around, through, and then you want to snug this knot right up to the bead. Otherwise, they're all going to be like way thrown out. Kind of takes some practice. Definitely helps to have fingernails. If you don't have fingernails, you can use like a pin or something with a sharp point. There she goes. She finally got off my jewelry. I just use my fingernails. So once you have that knot, you kind of pull this thread, and I've got this down to like an art because I've done it so many times. But you pull it, and then you hold the knot, and you really just like push that knot right up against that bead. And then you pull tight, and you can see they're all just kind of hanging out there. I love the way it feels, like the way that it moves through your hand. It just has like such a fluidity to it. You know, I used to make a lot of necklaces where I'd just string it on some beading wire, which is incredibly strong, and then you'd clasp it, and those are beautiful too. But once I started doing this, it's like I don't even want to go back to that because I just love the way the stones feel in your hand. I love all the symbolism behind it. So hopefully you guys think that's cool too. If not, this might not be the live stream for you. So I'm just working on this guy. Does anyone have any questions? I know we only have a couple people on right now. I'm sure people are like wrapping up their Sunday, their weekend. Might be dinner time for a lot of people, so hopefully y'all can watch the playback. We've got a few people on here, so if anyone has any questions, please ask away. I would love to hear them, answer them. If there's anything I forgot or left a mystery, please let me know. I got a heart. Thanks, guys. Alright. Well, let me check the time. Let's see, it's 7:24. Hey, I did pretty good. I wasn't sure if I could fill a 30-minute time slot, but turns out pretty good at talking a lot. Alright. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to throw some questions out there. And if not, I think we can wrap up this session. It's been really awesome talking to you guys, just kind of rambling about what I'm passionate about. Let's see. Where do you get all your gems and stones? Oh, that's a great question. So, I'm definitely a hands-on person, obviously. I love going to all the local gem shows. I'm based out of Indian Rocks, but you guys would be more familiar with St. Pete, Florida. So we're lucky. There's actually twice a year a gem show that goes through St. Petersburg, in the Coliseum downtown. And then almost every other month there is a gem show that goes through Sarasota. So, and there's a lot of local shops, and I love supporting local as much as possible. You know, so there's a lot of little hidden gems, no pun intended, with local bead stores around here. I've got some friends down the road that have a shop called Spig Island. Wonderful lady up the road, Island Cove Beads and Gifts. I get a lot of my, findings and materials from her. But a lot of, I would say, majority of my stones come from the bead shows, the gem shows. And they also have gem shows go through Clearwater a lot. So I'm very lucky that there's some, within reach. That being said, with COVID and everything being shut down for the last, month and a half or so, I've had to find other sources, which I ended up turning to Etsy, because I figured, if you're very selective, because unfortunately Etsy isn't what it used to be 10 years ago, where it really was all handmade. There's some big guys in there too, but if you're very, if you're very careful to look and see where you're buying from, where it's shipping from, where the store is based, if they have a actual store, I found a few really awesome sources online through Etsy that are local stores, or at least based in the U.S. I found one over in Hialeah, Florida. I can't remember the name of the store right now. A couple out of Texas, a couple out of California. But I try to keep it small business. I try to keep, supporting other, artists and small business and makers and all that kind of stuff, because, we all got to help each other out. That's how we're going to get through all this. And So yeah, it's always a learning process, and a little curveball thrown in there kind of just helps you grow. So that's all great. So did that answer your question? Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I think, let's see. Oh yeah, it's just about 7:30. So I'm gonna hop off of here. I put my link in the description to my Facebook page. Also, you can find me on Instagram. That would be super dope. I love connecting with people all over. That's the one fun thing about social media is, like, thank God for that right now, right? Like, could you imagine if we were all sitting at home, like, twiddling our thumbs, and we didn't have awesome people out there making their music, making their art, and sharing that online for us to see? I mean, and, like, huge shout out to you, Devin, for putting this together, for the whole Dropouts official page. Super dope. Really excited to be part of this, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of this online, virtual stuff, classes, that kind of stuff. So, that being said, signing off. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Much love.